Imagine being so broken that your entire world revolves around the tiniest twinge of pain. Your sleep is wrecked, your mood is shattered, and your days are filled with endless exhaustion. For over 30 years, this was my reality. My condition left me unable to work, let alone enjoy life. All thanks to an accident during basic training. My messed up back was more than just a physical burden. It became my identity. But my problems were nothing compared to the struggles of John. John's daughter suffered from an extreme form of epilepsy. It was heartbreaking to watch her endure frequent seizures. Each episode drained her body and spirit, leaving us feeling helpless and heartbroken. She needed a new surgery, but our insurance company refused to cover it. We had no choice but to seek financial help. And as I reached out to different organizations, the truth hit me hard. Many of them didn't care about our story. They simply rejected our request without a second thought. It was frustrating, disheartening, and incredibly lonely. I remember sitting at my desk surrounded by rejection letters, tears streaming down my face. I recall telling my wife, "We won't raise enough money. I can feel it in my gut. We're letting our daughter down." My wife, bless her, tried to comfort me, saying, "Don't lose hope. God doesn't give up on us." But as the days passed, I started to lose faith. Hopelessness became my constant companion. Then came the hardest part, watching my daughter fade away right before my eyes. Her condition worsened to the point where she wouldn't even stand up anymore. She went from being an active, vibrant kid to a shadow of herself. This pain felt unbearable, like carrying a heavy rock in my chest that just kept getting heavier. But then a ray of light emerged. A friend told me about an organization. As I reached out to them, they listened to our story and surprisingly agreed to help us raise the funds we needed for our daughter's surgery. Hope rekindled within me. Thanks to their support, we managed to raise the money. We immediately took our daughter to the hospital. After a month of surgery and rehabilitation, she returned home as a different person. A brighter, livelier version of our beloved daughter. It was as if a switch had been flipped. I witnessed this transformation firsthand, and my perspective on life shifted dramatically. In those dark moments, when I felt utterly alone and defeated, I clung to the belief that somewhere, somehow, someone cared. Those prayers lifted me up when I felt like giving up. Even though I couldn't see it, I knew God had a plan for me, a purpose that extended beyond my current struggles. These experiences taught me valuable lessons about faith, hope, and resilience. And I'm here today to share them with you. Luke 7 verse 1 to 10. When Jesus was summoned to a town meeting, there was a man there whose name was Centurion. He was an officer in charge of 100 men in the imperial bodyguard. He was highly respected by the Jews because he had built a synagogue at his own expense. He came to Jesus and begged him to come and heal his servant, saying, "He is dear to me and an only son." When the centurion heard these things, he said to himself, "I am not worthy to have you come under my roof, but speak the word only, and my servant will be healed. For I also am a man under authority, having soldiers under me, and I say to one, 'Go,' and he goes, and to another, 'Come,' and he comes, and to my servant, 'Do this,' and he does it." When Jesus heard it, he marveled at him and turned and said to the crowds that followed him, "I say to you, I have not found such great faith. No, not in Israel." In today's gospel reading from Luke, Jesus performed another miracle, healing the servant of a Roman soldier named Centurion. Centurion was in charge of 100 men, like a squad leader in the army. He was a foreigner who didn't follow Jewish customs, yet he had built a synagogue. This suggests that while he might not have been Jewish himself, he respected the Jewish people and their practices enough to invest in a place of worship. The centurion had a deep love for his servant, describing him as his son. It seems like the centurion's son was adopted into his family and enjoyed the same rights and privileges as a biological son. There was a deep bond between them, which is evident in the centurion's desperate plea to Jesus to come and heal him. Centurion's plea. At first, the centurion sent messengers to ask Jesus to come and heal his servant. He probably sent someone important, perhaps a trusted officer, to deliver this message. This messenger would have been well aware of the centurion's status and would have conveyed the urgency and importance of the request. However, Jesus responded by saying that he would go to their house that day. This must have been shocking to the centurion, who was used to giving orders and expecting immediate compliance. Instead, Jesus was challenging him to recognize that he, the centurion, was not in control. Jesus was. The centurion realized that he couldn't order Jesus to do what he wanted. Instead, he had to approach Jesus humbly and trust in his power. Then the centurion stopped Jesus and surprised everyone by saying, "Lord, I am not worthy that you should come under my roof, but just say the word of healing, and my servant will be healed." This was an astonishing statement. This Roman soldier, someone who commanded men and issued orders, was showing humility and submission before Jesus. Centurion acknowledged that he wasn't worthy for Jesus to visit his house, but he believed that Jesus' word alone had the power to heal his servant. This showed that he understood the true nature of Jesus' authority. It wasn't based on physical presence, but on his words. This understanding highlights the central role of faith in this story. The centurion's faith in Jesus' power, even from a distance, was crucial to the healing of his servant. It also showcases the significance of humility. The centurion's willingness to admit his unworthiness and submit to Jesus' authority enabled him to receive the miracle he desired. Jesus' reaction. Jesus reacted to the centurion's faith with surprise. He was astonished by the magnitude of the centurion's faith. Jesus turned to the crowd that followed him and declared, "I say to you, I have not found such great faith, no, not in Israel." Jesus made a bold statement, claiming that he hadn't encountered such great faith anywhere else in Israel. This implies that the centurion stood out among the Jewish people for his strong belief in Jesus' power. It also suggests that true faith is rare and that the centurion's faith was exceptional. Healing from a distance. The centurion's request for healing from a distance highlights a lesser-known aspect of Jesus' authority. While many people believe that Jesus only performed miracles through physical touch, this story challenges that notion. Jesus' power transcended physical limitations. His words alone had the ability to heal. This emphasizes the spiritual nature of Jesus' miracles. Healing occurred not merely through physical contact, but through faith and the power of Jesus' words. A lesson in faith. The centurion's story provides a compelling lesson in faith. His unwavering belief in Jesus' power to heal his servant, despite physical distance, demonstrates the strength and efficacy of faith. This story teaches us that faith can move mountains, and that it doesn't require physical proximity to experience the power of Christ. It's a lesson that transcends time and continues to inspire believers today. Centurion's lack of religious background may seem like a disadvantage, but it actually becomes his strength. He wasn't burdened by religious expectations or traditions. Instead, he approached Jesus as a foreigner with an open mind. He wasn't afraid to admit he didn't understand everything, but he was willing to learn and believe. This openness allowed him to grasp the essence of Jesus' teachings and to trust in his authority. Centurion's humility is another key aspect of his faith. He understood that he wasn't better than others because of his social status. He didn't try to use his power or influence to manipulate Jesus. Instead, he humbled himself before Jesus and recognized his own unworthiness. This humility enabled him to receive God's blessings. Religious leaders often struggle with pride and arrogance, thinking they're holier than others because of their knowledge or position. However, the centurion, despite being a foreigner, showed more humility than many religious leaders. His faith journey reminds us that it's not our background or status that matters most, but our willingness to humble ourselves before God. And that's why the centurion was able to witness the marvelous power of Jesus Christ even from afar. His faith, humility, and openness to the teachings of Jesus enabled him to experience the transformative power of Christ in his life. The centurion serves as an inspiration for all of us, showing that it's not our background or social status, but our faith and humility that truly matter in the eyes of God. Thank you for listening to the Word of God. May the example of the centurion inspire you to put your trust in the power of Jesus Christ. If you found encouragement in this message, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Stay blessed.